Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. You are watching the Paris Fintech Forum Communities video interview series. I'm Elliott Gotkine, and today I'm joined by the co-founder and general manager of Agicap, Clément Mauguet. Great to have you with us.
Thank you, Elliott. I'm very happy to be with you today also.
Great. So before we get cracking, we're going to learn a little bit more about Agicap. So, Clément, you're a cash flow management platform. What does that mean in practice?
So, concretely, for those who never heard about Agicap, I founded Agicap with my two co-founders in 2016, Lucas and Sébastien, with two strong observations that are very true, remains true today. The first one is that cash is the lifeblood of any business. We said cash is king. Either for survival or to finance growth. But cash is very poorly managed today. The reason why it's poorly managed is because cash management and forecasting are complex issues, mainly because data is very scattered in different systems. ERP, accounting, Excel files, banks, all of that makes the data siloed. So Agicap has developed the next generation treasury management system. So we are operating into the so-called category TMS, Treasury Management System. So what we do is mainly connect your bank accounts. We have a model of banking connectivity so that you have a central view of all your bank accounts. This module enables then to centralize everything and then to operate into more management of your cash, meaning transferring money from account to another. You can operate some planning, some liquidity planning, short, mid to long term, and it is something that is very innovative and very specific to Agicap. We not only answer the traditional common TMS bricks, but we also serve and enhanced our tool by concrete solutions from improving the company's cash performance, meaning digitizing supplier invoices, collecting the customer bills, or managing their spends with corporate or virtual cards. So in a nutshell, maybe our mission is very simple. We want to help any companies to better manage their cash and improve their finance performance. That's it.
Okay. And how are you doing as a company in terms of revenue growth or revenues, profitability or path to profitability? How are things going as a business?
So it's a good question because the world has changed in the last 2 to 3 years from growth at any cost to being EBITDA positive, let's say it this way. So Agicap is supposed to be cash flow positive by end of next year. So we have changed the way we're doing things so that we are in the race to become. In terms of growth, it remains very high. We have done 10x the last 3 years, reaching more than 50 million today of turnover. So I would say that the business is quite good. It could always be better, but we are booming in this sector that is remain greenfield. And so for which we think that there is a big momentum for us to deliver our services.
And, we've seen interest rates being cut in the United States, in the UK, in Europe as well. Is this good or bad for you? Because presumably if people are getting lower returns on their cash, they will be looking to have less of it in their bank accounts and more of it, perhaps deployed.
So it's a good question. Today, the trend is that interest rates remain high, in a sense that it's harder for mid-market companies that were serving and that require some finances to continue sustain their growth. It's harder to get financed today. And on the other hand, there is a higher cost of opportunity not placing your money at 3-4%. So today, we even see it as a huge opportunity for us to continue developing because, and this is one metric that I can give you, Elliott, today, mid-market companies, so companies from, let's say, 10 million to 200, $300 million turnover, which is mainly our ICP today. This company lose an average of 450K annually on both overdraft fees and financial income due to inefficient cash management. So it's directly margin, right, when we speak about financial income. And so here you can see that the return on investment of a tool like Agicap is quite huge, because our purpose is to literally bring this figure to nearly zero.
Right. Wow. Okay. Well, that's a staggering statistic for anyone watching, wondering, if the investment and the cost of this kind of service, are in sync with the benefits. So look, so we've heard about Agicap now, Clément. Let's now get to know you a little bit better. So, Clément, you started Agicap, as you were saying, more than 8 years ago. So I think from what I see, this would mean you founded the company in your mid-20s, I think. Were you already tired of working for other people, or did you always just want to be an entrepreneur?
It's a good question. So I would not say that I've always dreamed, as I was a kid, to be an entrepreneur. I had kind of, it's my first company. Before that, I had worked 3 years as a strategy consultant in Paris for mainly bank and insurances. It's where I had some insights on open banking and on the fact that banks were not providing something that was comprehensive enough for managing the cash, and not other actors. To answer to your question, I realized quite rapidly that I was more doer than an advisor. Not saying that one is better than another, but I figured that I really wanted to do things by myself, and by doing things is everything from thinking to resolving to solving, and being dependent on an entire system or hierarchy whatsoever. So to me, entrepreneurship was really an interesting path to express myself and to enjoy work.
And I mean, it's clearly a full-time job. When you're not consumed by Agicap, if there are any moments when you're not consumed by Agicap, what do you do to kind of wind down, to recharge?
The batteries. I mainly do, I have 2 kids, so I take care of them, of course. 2.5 and 7 months ago. They are 7 months old, so they're quite young. But to take care of myself, I mainly do some sport. I do swimming, not in competition, but I find it to be my perfect sport to just relax, empty my mind, and get refreshed for the week coming. And I'm also play chess, so I don't have any elo yet, as I know some entrepreneurs in French Tech has. But I found it very, very interesting, the comparison with entrepreneurship, where it's a game where you have to constantly adapt in the short run to events, so like moves from your from the guy you're playing with, not losing in mind your strategy, your midterm game, where you want to go, how you're going to end the game, how you're going to win. So I really like this game, and I try to be better in my openings and stuff like this.
I can see how that might translate into running a company and dealing with competitors and other people that you have to deal with. I did read one interview that you gave, and I think you said it was really, really important. And I know I don't want to pander to stereotypes about French people, but I did read that you were saying how important it is to make sure you take an hour lunch break in the day. Do you manage to follow your own advice every day? And what do you do in that 1 hour that you take off in the daytime?
So I take one of these hours to go swimming, for instance, but also take this time to take some time to do the readings that I don't have the time to do. Either it's reading linked to the finance world, or some more economics topics, because the micro and the macroeconomics are strong drivers for us of our own activity. Cash ended up to be, at the end of the game, something that got affected by those big moves. So it's important for me also to understand the trends and where I should maneuver into developing functionalities or models based on micro macro trends. and also like take some breath, just do some work, relax a little.
And to eat some food, one imagines as
Eat
well.
Eat some food. I would not say that my diet is the perfect one. I don't. It's more sandwich or rapid stuff, but I mean,
Okay.
I enjoy it.
Sure. Okay. All right, Clément. So look, a key part of this interview is to get your take on the future of finance. But first, we are going to take a very quick break, after which we're going to continue our conversation with the co-founder and general manager of Agicap, Clément Mauguet. Welcome back. And don't forget, if you're not already a full member of our community, everything you need to join can be found at www.parisfintechforum.com. Okay, now Clément, let's talk about the future of finance. So, Clément, we've seen the kind of zenith of fintech, if you like, in terms of valuations and excitement a couple of years ago, or like 2 or 3 years ago. It's been mostly downhill ever since. There are, a couple of outliers such as Revolut, for example. Is the worst now behind the fintech industry, do you think? Is the fintech winter over?
Depends on for which angle do you look at it. I think that from disruption opportunity standpoint, it remains very interesting because things go very fast, and we keep speaking about both AI revolution and the acceleration of the digitalization of the companies. And what is true is that some paradigms change quite fast. So from an innovative perspective, I think it remains very interesting these moments. From a financing perspective, I would not say that even if what we have lived may not have happened because it was kind of a ball, but still some cash needs to be raised if you are if you want to disrupt the market, if you create something big enough that could have a huge impact, or to be international, to be global, etc. And here you need to have I guess a lot of proof points to raise funds at decent levels to make it as an entrepreneur. So I'm positive, very positive, and I think that the fundamentals will remain the same at some point. It's all about like having clients, having proof of concept that you will have clients to retain, etc. But I think it's a positive moment to live as an entrepreneur.
Okay, and I'm glad you mentioned artificial intelligence, as that was my next question. Where do you think it's going to have the biggest impact in terms of fintech and financial services?
It's a good question and a hard one, because we speak a lot about this, and to me, it tends to affect all the sectors because I see it as a strong means. I think we are lagging some perspective yet on really disrupt some entire industries, some software industries, for instance, from CRM to, for the one of mine, CFO suite, treasury suite, etc. What it sure is that, to speak of, for instance, Agicap itself, it's everywhere. It's every day from our internal processes, for which productivity gets much higher, to the tool itself, the product itself, for which we put AI as a means to make it smarter, to make it faster, and for more delivery, client delivery. But it's not your question. Your question was more the industry, the segment itself. Possibly things related to embedded finance, for which you would have a need to strong calculation model, predictive model, as you need to tackle a huge amount of data to end up with some decision to get credit on it.
Is it fair to say that you're among the optimists for artificial intelligence, and that the benefits outweigh more than the potential drawbacks, be it from fraudsters, deep fakes, and other nefarious purposes that it could be used for?
Here, I would not say so, because to me, I'm also both surprised and of the speed of some scam or the possibilities of what AI makes. So we speak a lot about regulatory law to frame it. Where I don't know is to what extent it will be so embedded into our life, from devices to everything we do, and so to what extent we could stop it at some point. So I'm positive into what it can bring in our life in terms of upscaling some part of our life or our education, etc. But there will always have people that will try to take the most of it from damages. So here I'm balanced. I would not say that I'm as a pro or cons. I'm quite neutral on the whole balance it could have.
Right. I mean, I'm glad you mentioned regulators as well, because you seem to know already what my next questions are, and I haven't shared them with you, because I was going to ask you about regulators in Europe, if they're striking the right balance, because you have the EU Artificial Intelligence Act, for example, and regulators are, keenly taking an eye on things. They're also investigating, whether it's Microsoft and OpenAI or other kind of, collaborations with big tech and the like. Are regulators getting it right so far, or are they just way behind the curve?
I think it's hard to say if it's right or wrong. I think it has to be. It has to be, if not constrained, framed. It has to have a framework. I think that the framework will have to evolve a lot, just by the speed of the change of what AI brings every quarter, every semester. We see that it brings some new elements on the table. So I'm pro into finding a way to define boundaries, define limits. I think it's going to be very hard, to be honest, just by the fact that we can't go into all of the cases, and it looks like the cases are exponential. But we will have to.
Okay. And, you are a cash flow management platform. There's still a lot of excitement about digital assets, perhaps even more so after the election, after the victory of Donald Trump in the US election. Do you envisage digital assets, digital currencies, for want of a better word, being a part of the mix of cash flow management?
So here I will be fully honest with you. I don't know because it's something that is very early. So today, if we look at the ways of checks, for instance, if we take some examples of things that we've been for decades said that they will fully disappear, they are still here. So I think that it is a trend that will keep on growing for sure, for many reasons, from geopolitical to technical. I think it makes sense, and we have already seen that some big actors are creating some trackers based on. The trend is here. The only thing is that it's hard for me to say that it will plummet the market from day one, and it's going to be like 50% of the entire cash of a company in the next 10 years will be e-money. I'm not sure about that. So if we speak about the 50 years of trend, maybe, but I can't do things today for 50 years, a change of paradigm.
Okay. Now, unlike most French startups, you're not based in Paris. You're in Lyon, very nice city. Why Lyon? And in this age of, kind of working from home and, digitalization of everything, should the financial industry should we stop thinking about fintech locations in terms of, Paris versus London or Silicon Valley? Should it be more about, countries as a whole, or not even talking about things in terms of where borders are, and just look at hubs or just look at, fintechs and technology companies and startups based on their own merit?
It's a very interesting and good question. Thanks for putting it, because I really think that what you say is true. We should just not speak about it. The reason why we have done it in France is because France is a centralized country. It's about our history. Everything came from Paris, got developed in Paris. So it's normal that just statistically you have 80% of for a given ecosystem it in Paris. The reality now, from a more tactical standpoint, from my perspective, is that the countryside or regions offer amazing opportunities to develop, because you are not competing from an HR standpoint, or you don't have the noise of what, like, this density of actors from the VC and the financing world to the partners, to everyone. Because when you look at the clients themselves, clients are everywhere in France. And so it's not a problem to be in Lyon rather than in Paris, if you think of where my clients are, when I will have to visit them, etc. So from a pure rational and economic standpoint, for us, it has acted as a very strong asset. And I don't see any drawback today.
Okay. All right. So Clément, look, it's time now for our round of rapid fire questions. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, so I've got 90 seconds on my timer. We're going to try and get through as many as we can. One-word answers is all I'm after, and I will start the clock and we will begin. So, what fintech segment has the biggest potential over the next 5 years?
CFO suit.
What is the biggest pain point in your everyday financial life that you'd like to see resolved?
Cash flow placement.
Are we ready for the AI revolution?
No.
Do you think regulators in the United States and EU have kept pace with all the possibilities and behaviors we're seeing in the financial industry now?
No.
Have you personally ever invested in crypto?
No.
Are physical points of sales part of the future of finance?
No.
Are bank branches part of the future of finance?
Yes.
On a scale of 1 to 10, where 10 is the most likely and 1 the least likely, what do you rate the chances that in the next 10 years, one of the neobanks will be as profitable as a top-tier legacy bank?
5.
That central bank digital currencies, CBDCs, will become a mainstream reality in the US or EU?
5.
That you'll be able to open a crypto account at a top-tier bank?
8.
That SWIFT will still be the main tool for transferring money around the world?
9.
That a new card or non-card based rival will emerge to challenge Visa or MasterCard?
8.
Oh, we just had one more to go, but we are out of time. So thank you so much for that, Agicap co-founder and general manager Clément Mauguet. Really appreciate you taking the time to join me today.
Thank you, Elliott.
And for everyone watching, we will be back again next time with another big name from the world of finance and technology. We do hope you'll be able to join us again then. In the meantime, don't forget to subscribe to the Paris Fintech Forum YouTube channel and to follow us on X at Paris Fin Forum. That's all for now. See you next time. Bye-bye.